You- what an amazing world we live in with so many different cultures and languages and values that people are allowed to appreciate and view. Today, I want to talk about one of those places, the country of Japan. I'm Michael, and I hope you enjoy the speech and find something interesting in it today. First, we're going to talk about a little bit the traditional arts of Japan. Second, we'll talk about the communicative behavior and how they talk and behave in Japan. Lastly, we'll talk about a current event and the death of an unlikely diplomat. Let me begin. The traditional forms of art in Japan are the tea ceremony, which is an incredible thing that shows a lot of respect and value for people. It was rooted in Chinese Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, and also known as Chado, the way of the tea. It's an appreciation of the beautiful in the daily routine of life. Uh, and usually, when performing the tea ceremony, it's found in either a special room inside the house or a gazebo outside the house specifically made for the ceremony itself. All of this information was provided by the Encyclopedia Britannica 2022. The second form of art I'd like to talk about is the art of flower arranging, which is incredibly deep and a beautiful form of art. Also known as Ikebana, it was brought to Japan in the 6th century by Chinese Buddhists as a way of offering flowers in their rituals. Ikebana was soon founded in the 7th century into a lot of different schools, the first being Ikenobu, which was then derived into many more schools throughout the years. All of this information was also provided by Encyclopedia Britannica 2022. Next, we'll talk a little bit about the communicative behavior and how in Japan it's a very masculine and individualistic society, even though they show a lot of loyalty and interpersonal connections in groups with a tight-knit community. Driven by the want of being the best through work and school, it shows that there is a large part of competition in their lifestyle, and they always are driven to want to be the top either in work or school, and that competition is built into them from a young age in school, being large school competitions, then starting with red versus white teams, and then moving up when they start working. They are constantly fighting to be the best. And even though they are known for being an individualistic society, kind of keeping to themselves and not being tight knit or like that, they show signs of interdependence on in their jobs and have a high loyalty towards them. They also have a strong sense of shame and a sense of losing face when it comes to those things. Lastly, we'll talk about an unlikely diplomat who sadly passed away recently. Antonio Inoki was a wrestler who uh, had many matches and made many relationships with people in high power in North Korea, Iraq, and Pakistan, giving him lots and lots of relationships to pull. And all of the information provided from the last segment was given by the Hofstede Insight Center 2020. And this article was found in the New York Times 2022. With his relationships from high ranking officials, he was able to use those relationships and build a lot of paths for people, and it was incredible when he was able to save lives through his connections when there were hostages taken hostages in Iraq. He set up peace fights and became a large part of the fight to bring those people back to their families, and he was able to save 48 people from those situations. He was also soon appointed as an actual member of the Japanese parliament, giving him a lot more power and the ability to help those people. Let me conclude by saying that we first talked about the traditional arts of Japan, the tea ceremony in Ikebana, the art of flower arranging. Second, we talked about the communicative behavior and the masculine and individualistic behaviors in Japan. And lastly, we talked about Antonio Inoki, who was an incredible wrestler and person to have lived on this earth. Thank you. I hope you found something interesting in my speech. Arigatou gozaimasu.